5,500 men, golden eagles, iron discipline, veterans who had fought from Gaul to Hispania. And then silence. No chronicle says they died, no mass grave, no recorded battle. An entire Roman legion, one of the most feared war machines of the ancient world, simply stops appearing in history. Its name was Legio IX Hispana. And here's what doesn't fit. Rome was obsessively meticulous about its military records. Every legion, every transfer, every casualty was written down. A legion was a colossal investment in training, equipment, and prestige. To lose one and leave no written trace of how, that shouldn't be possible. And yet it happened. By the end of this episode, you'll see why the most famous theory about their fate is almost certainly a myth. But first, let's follow the trail to the exact point where it goes cold. Let's start with what we know for certain, because here, rigor matters. The 9th Legion, known as Legio IX Hispana, the 9th Spanish Legion, was probably formed during the final years of the Roman Republic, perhaps by Julius Caesar himself. It fought in several key campaigns: Caesar's Gallic Wars in the 50s BC, its campaigns in Hispania, modern Spain and Portugal, gave it its official nickname Hispana. By the 1st century AD, the 9th was a veteran legion with a long and proud history. Then came Britain. Under the orders of Emperor Claudius and the command of Aulus Plautius, the Romans invaded Britain in the year 43. The 9th was among the first forces to set foot on the island, and the 9th knew both tragedy and triumph. It took part in the brutal suppression of the British revolts. In time, it was reinforced and moved north. After the successful crushing of the Iceni revolt, the 9th was reinforced and transferred to York, to guard what had become the northernmost frontier of the Roman Empire. Records show that by around the year 77, it was well established in its new base. That base, Eboracum, the modern city of York, is where the trail turns chilling, because there lies the last firm trace of the legion. The last attested activity of the 9th in Britain is during the rebuilding in stone of the legionary fortress at York in the year 108. This is recorded on an inscribed stone tablet discovered in 1864. That stone is kept today in the Yorkshire Museum. On it, in carved Latin, it honors Emperor Trajan and states that the gate was built by the work of the 9th Legion Hispana. It's a routine inscription, a building plaque. What's disturbing isn't what it says, but what comes after. Nothing. After that, the 9th Legion simply vanishes from the historical record. How do we know? Because Rome kept lists of its legions, and in the later lists, the 9th is gone. By the reign of Marcus Aurelius, between the years 161 and 180, the 9th no longer appeared among the forces of the Roman army, and it had disappeared from any military list by the reign of Emperor Septimius Severus between 193 and 211. Think about it. Many of the legions from this period existed into the 4th or 5th century. If a legion was disbanded, it was probably due to some disastrous defeat, and no such defeat exists in the historical record. This is where the legend was born. And it's a powerful one. The idea is cinematic. The 9th marches north into the wild lands of modern Scotland to subdue the Caledonian tribes, and it vanishes into the mist, wiped out to the last man by the peoples Rome never managed to conquer. This theory was immortalized in Rosemary Sutcliffe's novel The Eagle of the 9th, in which the legion is sent to fight the Caledonians in Scotland and exterminated there. It's a magnificent story. It's also almost certainly false. And here comes the twist. Because in the 20th century, excavations on the other side of the North Sea changed everything. In Nijmegen, in the modern Netherlands, evidence surfaced that the 9th did not die in the Scottish mist. Several inscriptions attesting to the 9th Hispana have been found at the site of the Lower Rhine legionary fortress at Noviomagus Batavorum, Nijmegen. They include tile stamps dated between 104 and 120, and a silvered bronze pendant found in the 1990s, which was part of a military decoration bearing the inscription Leg Hisp 9 on the reverse. There's more. An altar dedicated to Apollo from this same period was found in nearby Aquae Grani, modern Aachen in Germany, erected in fulfillment of a vow by Lucius Latinius Macer, who describes himself as Primus Pilus, chief centurion, and as prefect of the camp of the 9th Hispana. a high-ranking officer of the Ninth on the continent years after the York date. The Legion, or at least part of it, had crossed the sea. The Nijmegen evidence suggested the Legion survived the revolt of Boudicca and kept operating after the year 108, the date of its last known inscription at York. So the legend of extermination in Scotland starts to crumble. But be careful, because here, Rigor demands an important caveat, and it's the part almost no one tells. Less clear is whether the entire 9th Legion was at Nijmegen or merely a detachment. Some specialists have attributed the Nijmegen evidence to just a detachment of the IX Hispana, not the whole Legion. In other words, perhaps only one unit traveled there, and the bulk of the Legion met a different fate. The mystery isn't solved. It just moves. And if the 9th survived until the year 120 on the continent, where did it die then? Here the theories open up like paths in the fog. The Nijmegen evidence has led some to suggest the IX Hispana was destroyed in later conflicts of the 2nd century. The proposals include the Bar Kokhba revolt between the years 132 and 135, or Marcus Aurelius's war against Parthia between 161 and 166 in Armenia. A legion that began its legend in the mists of Britain and may have ended its days under the scorching sun of Judea or in the mountains of Armenia. We don't know, but there's one last theory, and it's the darkest of all, because it would explain the total silence of the sources. In Rome, there was a terrible punishment reserved for those who fell from grace, damnatio memoriae, the official erasing of memory. Roman historians could be very reluctant to record the facts about legions that had been disgraced, and officials were not averse to covering up, as far as possible, the fate of defeated legions to preserve public morale. The Legio IX Hispana may even have been crushed so completely and mercilessly that Emperor Hadrian decided to forbid telling the truth about its fate. Recent research points in exactly that direction. More recent archaeology, including evidence that London was burned to the ground and dozens of decapitated heads, suggests a crisis not on the frontier, but in the heart of the province, once believed peaceful at that time. What if the 9th Hispana took part in a rebellion, leading to its punishment, disbanding and damnatio memoriae, the official erasing of the records? Disgraced, disbanded, erased, not exterminated by barbarians with spears, but condemned by its own empire never to have existed. So here's the uncomfortable truth after following every lead. The romantic image of the Legion marching into the Scottish mist and never returning, the one you may have had in your head too, is probably a modern invention. What really happened remains buried. We don't know. There's no definitive proof pointing to anything. All we have are theories. 5,500 men, and the most meticulous record-keeping of the ancient world chose or was forced not to tell how they ended. Sometimes silence isn't an empty space. Sometimes silence is the answer.